Isn't it weird that there's a restaurant on this island? Why would Yoshi open up a place here? All the customers would have to walk through the water to get to this spot. Maybe not the best franchising decision on his part. Oh, sorry. We're back looking at Mario Kart World. Over there is DK Spaceport, where we ended last time. Today we're going to comb through the southeastern part of the map. The first video did a lot of explaining about why I like this world, but this video, we're going all in on spots. Welcome to Video Game World Tours. Koopa Troopa Beach is one of the game's retro tracks, but as someone who's not super familiar with Mario Kart, I didn't know that at first. I only learned that from some tweet or something after racing through here. I know it's not specific to this game, but I like how this series will remix classic tracks. This is genuinely unrecognizable compared to the original version. They took a lot of liberties with this design, but still kept the soul intact. Anyway, got a couple of spots to show off. Like this pipe here, very conspicuous. I've seen a few of these in the world, and they usually just take you to the top of whatever structure they're built into. A quick way to... well, this is different. We're in a little underground area. There's a Nabbit and a pipe leading you out. That's it. Is this Nabbit's hideout? If so, sorry for intruding, pal. I will be taking your coins, though. And I'll be real, I tried really hard to get up to that hole above where we came in. That's the perfect spot for a video like this. I would love to say that I was able to hang out in that little cubby. Alas, I am not goated, nor do I have the sauce. Maybe it's impossible to get up there, I don't know. I didn't even get close. I'm sorry, I let you all down. As an apology, take this spot. There's a little ledge tucked under the ramp that you use to jump off this little mountain. I got an out there comparison for you. I've done enough of these videos where spots in one game will remind me of a spot in another, and it's just the most out of nowhere thing. But that's how my brain works, and you clicked into this video to hear my thoughts, so I will subject you to them, no matter how weird they may be. This reminds me of the Companions Forum in Xenoblade Chronicles DLC, Future Connected. I made it a point to talk about that spot in my video on the game because it felt so special. I'm specifically reminded of it because there's what's kind of a ramp here and a little ledge below it. Yeah, that's it. Moving on. We'll cross the water here and make it back to the mainland. We got a dock with some boats. Who do you think owns these? Are there some wealthy toads out there? Toads that have a super cushy office job that pays well, enough to buy a small boat. And, I feel like the concept of wealthy toads carries along the concept of poor toads. Are there homeless toads? I may have been the first person to speculate on the wealth gap in Mario Kart World. I must say, it's an honor. On this boat, I found a little sign that says, "Banana Boy, let one slip." What does that mean? I get the joke, banana peel slipping, haha. But who's Banana Boy? I'm not sure. I know I definitely don't want to meet him. This road takes you to the next track. But what if we were to just take a little detour? Back here is a bunch of empty space. And I know I talk about empty spaces a lot, but this is good and empty. No P-switch challenges, no question mark panels, just a handful of coins. If you hang out in this spot, you're just doing it for the love of the game. I do love it. I love how freeing it is to be in spaces like this, especially where you can gaze out at the ocean over this cliff. If you go over here, there's a little beach with some NPCs near a fire. They're just living life, enjoying the view. I think I'll do that too. Oh my god, hold on. Just need to get... There we go. I was able to get up here. My life is complete. Where was I? Of course, we were just about to enter Dino Dino Jungle. I'm a Jurassic Park fan, so I really like the direction they took this. Though, what does this mean in-world? Is there a John Hammond figure out there, blinded to the dangers of the park by thoughts of profit? With scientists preoccupied with whether or not they could, not stopping to think if they should? These fences aren't keeping any dinosaurs in, I'll tell you that much. Hell, containment has straight up failed. There are all kinds of dinosaurs roaming around this space. Just nuke the whole island. That's what they should have done in Jurassic Park. It's fine. Dinosaurs probably would have found a way to come back somehow. Let's explore this track while we're here. There are dinosaur eggs placed around the track. You can actually knock them over. Maybe not the best idea when mom or dad might be around, but it's fun. While riding up into this shortcut reveals a tiny little room. Not much of note about it. Except for these tiny little panels. These feel like something that should be built into a box sticking out of the wall, not something that's recessed into it. Does that make sense? I think I made a similar point in one of my Half-Life videos. Weird little control panels always stick out to me in games. That shortcut leads you into the center of this massive dome. Got a lot of space to breathe in here. During the race, all you do is loop around and get out of here pretty quickly. But you might notice all the seemingly traversable space above you. Welp, I gotta get to the top. It might take me a moment, but the Predizens need to see it. After all, what kind of tour guide am I if I don't show you the tippy top of a tall building? There we go. Coins galore. And some dino eggs too. Cute. I love being high up in open world games, being able to see so much of the landscape from one spot. Look at me, I'm king of the globe. That's the second Thumbtanic reference I've made on this channel. I hope someone out there appreciates that. Guess we'll visit the Great Question Block Ruins next. You know, I never really noticed these were giant brick blocks. And hey, that's on me. I just wasn't paying attention before, I'll admit that. But I'm pointing it out in case you somehow missed it too. These giant blocks remind me of something from some game. I'm having a moment like I did earlier with Xenoblade Chronicles, but I can't remember the game I'm thinking of. Being a tiny little feller next to a giant fallen over structure, it just seems familiar. Oh, Elden Ring. All those buildings near the start of the game when you first go into the open world. That's it, yeah. Mario Kart World is giving me Elden Ring vibes. Alright, the Great Question Block Ruins. Oh, this isn't it, it's up there in the sky. But I like the little lake down below here. Whole lot of nothing. Guess that implies the ruins up above were initially down here. Don't know what caused them to float, but I'm not gonna ask questions. Of course we gotta reach the top of the giant block. Man, it's fun to do sequences like this. Reminds me of Tony Hawk. Ooh, big pile of coins. Alright, this has gotta be the highest point in the world. We're floating up in the sky. No way you can get higher than this. And Rainbow Road doesn't count. Way out there, you can just barely make out Starview Peak. See that mountain in the distance? You can drive there. Further into the stage, if you turn around from where the track wants you to go, there's a little path you can take. It's a bit perilous, but not too difficult. It leads you to this little floating platform. Kinda like it here, it's tucked away. I guess it's not especially hard to reach, considering you can fall off the track at a couple different points and end up here. But I like the challenge of bouncing on the clouds. It makes it feel more special. This pipe takes you back to the top of the block that we were at earlier. Oh, wow. I'm sorry. It takes you to another one of these underground areas. I guess there's a bunch of these dotted around the world. I just assumed the one we looked at earlier was special. Sorry, Nabbit. I'll leave. That pipe takes you out to the top of the stage. We're gonna hop back down and run over to this floating block island. There is genuinely nothing here. Not even some coins. This is raw decoration. The beauty of Mario Kart World is that you can visit these spots. In previous games, decorative bits like this would count as out of bounds and you'd be teleported back to the track. But not in this one. There are no out of bounds in this game. We're gonna take a brief stop at Faraway Oasis. The landscape transitions from jungle to savanna. I love how flat it is here. Always a sucker for this type of environment. I'm receiving a mental transmission from a game I've covered in the past. This looks like a spot we've seen before. Are you thinking what I'm thinking? Gower Plain from Xenoblade Chronicles. These two rocks remind me of the massive overhangs in that place. I guess I just get a lot of Xenoblade vibes from this game. I remember saying in that video that you don't really see a whole lot of single-player games that have worlds like that. One so vast and relatively flat. Usually you see that design trope in MMOs, but you see it in Xenoblade games and now in Mario Kart. Which is funny because the developers of Xenoblade Chronicles, Monolith Soft, actually helped out with this game. I think that's enough to call Mario Kart World an honorary Xenoblade game. Back to the topic at hand, Faraway Oasis. I don't have much to say about it, unfortunately. That's just the nature of games like this. Some stages you have a lot to say about and others you don't. I like racing here, but there aren't a whole lot of spots to speak of. The one thing I will mention is this waterfall. It's such an interesting design how the water is level here, and then there's a slope. That's where you race and drift along. Plus it's curved, all around weird, but I dig it. Got a bit of a trek to the next stage, Peach Beach. Quick side tangent. As someone who's done a lot of exploring and free roam so far, I only have one addition to suggest. I'm not going to ask for all the collectibles to be labeled on the map, or to be able to place a waypoint on the map and get directions there like a GPS. I just want to be able to lock my minimap to the north. It's very easy to get turned around, and having that little bit of consistency would go a long way. I still like having to be able to find my own path somewhere, but being able to know my cardinal directions at all times would be helpful. Alright, that's Pretzel's nitpick of the day. Whoa, now that's a view. Green grass, rolling hills, windmills all over. This is beautiful. And I kinda love that this isn't even a part of a track or anything. The most you'll see of this space during any race is while traveling between tracks. You know what? I'm gonna call it. This is today's Pretzel Certified Video Game World Tour spot. I can't get enough of this. Anyway, there she is on the horizon, Peach Beach. I love this track in Double Dash, and I was excited to see it was in this game. I was sad though when I saw that the giant pipe wasn't here. It was kind of a bizarre inclusion in that game, like it wasn't a shortcut or anything, but it was weird, and weird is fun. Unfortunate that they didn't include it here, especially considering there's a ton of pipes all across the world that launch you just like the one did in Double Dash. They made up for that removal by adding a ton of new stuff. The small spot I like is this little tower with a good chunk of coins in it. Yummy. And also there's this whole new town section, guess that's there too. So many shops and buildings. It'd be scary to walk down this street with carts speeding by. There's a pipe nearby that takes you to the top of the whatever this building is. You know me, I love spots that are high up. The coin piles are a bonus. The view is what makes these so memorable. This is my favorite spot on the track. Or it would be if not for this gliding section. Rather, what lies below it. You glide over almost all of this during a normal race, but now we get to explore it at ground level, and you can see how barren it is. It almost feels unfinished with the lack of detail. I understand though, you'll be flying way above all this. You aren't meant to be down here holding a microscope to every little part of the world and judging it. Not you, me. That's my job. We'll be driving over to Wario Shipyard for the next stage. There's a lot of water and not a whole lot to point out on the ride over there. That's just this game sometimes. Pointing your character in the right direction, holding A, and zoning out for a minute. It's nice to have a mental break every now and then. Just before the stage is something of note though. A very scary whirlpool. This is like something out of Wind Waker. I'll have to cover that game someday. It'll probably happen eventually, maybe, perchancebly. Wario Shipyard. Speaking of Wind Waker, this kinda reminds me of, Great Fish Isle, was it? Been a while since I played. Both it and Wario Shipyard have obviously been through a lot. What caused all this destruction? And what did it look like beforehand? Did Wario own all these ships? What would he need with a fleet? He already has a stadium. Wario built his face into the ship here. Little bro's got an ego. There's a Yoshi food truck out here, just in the middle of nowhere. I think it's hilarious how you'll find these in the craziest of places. Imagine you're a toad coming in for work, and they tell you to drive out to an abandoned shipyard in the middle of the ocean. That'd be a rough day. This stage has a lot of traversable area outside of the track, specifically on the castle walls. I like the world design in this game in spots like this because it seems like you wouldn't even be able to get up there. Like, from this position, I see no obvious way to reach it. But if you go digging a bit, you'll almost always find a path to get up to where you want to go. Hell, you'll usually find a couple of paths. It's very free form. You feel so smart discovering something like this. They make these paths fun to find. And it's fun to explore the areas they lead to. Even if you won't find much more than some coins or question mark panels, it's enjoyable to explore for exploration's sake. I'm fine not treating this game like a collectathon where I have to find all of the stuff in it. Just seeing cool spots is enough of a reward to me. Like, I saw that rope up there and it immediately sparked curiosity in me. It initially seemed out of reach, but then I remembered wall riding. I come at it from this angle, I can't quite get it. Then I try it from this angle, and it works. Now I'm way up here. But if I go further, then I get into a gliding section. And look, there's a peach medallion. I don't really care about the collectible itself, but the challenge to get here and the spot I find myself in is what made that whole little sequence rewarding. There's so much space on these castle walls that you wouldn't see during a normal race. Like, look at all this. Here's a track where you chase Nabbit. This could almost be a part of the race. It fits in that well. Honestly, I wasn't expecting to enjoy this stage as much as I did when planning out this video, but all this space helps it stand out to me, as a video game explorer that is. Let us cross open waters and make our way to Salty Salty Speedway. Can I just say, not a fan of the name. I know that's something they do with a lot of place names across the Mario series. Dire Dire Docks, Moo Moo Meadows, those are good. But Salty Salty Speedway? Meh. Geez, still going through the water. Nothing to see. Guess that's on me for beelining it there and not taking the roads. Alright, here we are. I've always loved urban areas in Mario games. As a kid, I'm sure a lot of you out there were curious about what the rest of Mario's world looked like outside of Peach's castle in Super Mario 64. Where did they eat? Where did they live? What did their cities look like? Spots like this give an answer to that question. It's fun to see a whimsical Mario take on a city. I love the aesthetic they chose for this one in particular. All these pink and brown bricks, with gray bricks for the path below you. It's comforting. Imagine coming home to this after a long day in the Wario Shipyard food truck. You could relax. As for weird spots, there's this little alcove with a couple of coins. Not sure what this is all about, but it's cute. Oh man, the roads along the canal here? This would be a lovely spot to take a stroll on a Sunday afternoon. You could stop at the Muncher coffee place during your journey. Though right after that, the path kinda ends. Maybe not the best design from a city planner perspective. Driving up the water leads you to this beautiful central area. It feels like this is the spot the whole stage draws you to. I bet all of the important ceremonies for the city happen here. It just has that aura. Below it are some wide and kinda empty streets. You can definitely feel that this is a spot widened to fit the 24 racers. It's uncanny, almost too big, but I like it. Hold up. Come on, developers, don't fail me now. Yes, of course you hit a spot behind the waterfall. I love that. Kinda cozy down here, I dig it. Taking the pipe leads you to the very tip-top of the city. It launches you forward a bit, but if you hit the brakes you can stay on the building. You get to hang out in this little spot. I couldn't think of a better place to close out this video, just staring out at the world, wondering what other spots are hiding out there, just waiting to be discovered. Thanks for watching, Predizens. See you next time.